Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Wisdom of Essential Oils. I'm Leonie Featherstone, and it's my great pleasure to welcome you today, whatever part of the world you're in. As you pop on this morning, please say hello, tell us where you're from. We're here to chat about essential oils, and as you may notice, anyone who joins me for the second or third or fourth time, I'm not on my own. I have my very good friend Berit Munro here, who I'd like to introduce to you, because the wisdom of essential oils is not just in the aroma and not just in how it makes us feel. And you know, I'm very passionate about the emotional aspects. Well, these oils are so wise in many other ways. And I thought, who better to bring on with me than someone who's a scientist who actually can explain in a very simple way to us why these oils make us feel the way they do, why they make us feel changes going on in our body. And so Barrett has been working with scientific matter. And essential oils for 40 years. You've been educating people. Barrett, I don't know how they allowed you to do that from the cradle. I really don't know. Good morning, Kat. Oh, another Queenslander. Yay. Welcome, welcome. But I think one of your specialties, Barrett, is actually taking the complex and distilling it down into really simple speak so that people like you who are not scientific can actually understand. And my friends, this morning I've called this talk Sense of Curiosity, because I think we need to learn to ask more questions in life, ask more questions of ourselves. That's how we'll get to know who we really are. That's how we get to know what's going on in our life on a wellness level, holistic, mind, body, spirit, which brings me to the point, why are we talking essential oils on a spiritual platform? Well, here's my take on this. And Barrett, you can chime in later if you feel the urge. The way I see it, we are holistic beings, and if we are to step into our spiritual awakening, into our spiritual awareness, we need to feel good within ourselves on a physical level. And if we are feeling stodgy, if we are feeling unwell, it's really hard to be operating on that platform. And if we are hurting from our heart, if we are confined and restricted by limiting beliefs, we can't step into that greater awareness. And this is the power of essential oils. They have this beautiful way of working on all of those levels. And I'm very excited that we can integrate that a little bit for you today. So welcome, Barrett. How are you?
Thank you, Leonie. It's wonderful to be here and in a new group and you know, really sharing just different perspectives. And you know, every perspective has a valid voice, and I think that's what the exciting part is on this journey, is just to learn every day how we appreciate, how we can use, and how we can bring the oils into our lives.
Absolutely. And one of the things, Barrett and I are colleagues. We've worked together for many years, and Barrett specialises in integrating the doTERRA essential oils into her gut health workshops and into her other holistic tools that she offers to the public. And we're going to share some of those with you later. But it's so powerful to ask questions of others when we don't know the answers. And this is something I feel very blessed that I have surrounded myself, and I've filled my toolkit not just with my beautiful essential oils. I've filled them with other modalities. I've filled them with people like Barrett who can help me out. I fill them with resource books, and I want to encourage you to do the same. Hi, Amanda. What's it like in Manchester at the moment? I'm not sure what time of the day it is or whatever, but anyway, welcome, welcome, welcome. What's going to happen today, guys, is I'm just going to, I'll take you through, because some of you may be new. I'm going to take you through a little rest and release exercise in a moment, because we all get caught up in the stress of the world, and I know it's really challenging for many of you across the globe at the moment, and we want to help bring a little bit of sunshine, a little bit of light into your day, morning, night, whatever it is for you right now. But also we're going to be talking about some specific oils and how they can actually support you in various emotions or physical manifestations that you might be experiencing owing to this climate that we are currently living in. I welcome your questions. Barrett welcomes your questions. One thing I just want to say, if there's something that you want to ask us about on a physical level, pop it in there for sure. But what we will probably do is take it off this platform and talk to you privately, because it is a private concept, but also we have to be very mindful of compliance languaging when we are speaking about these oils. They are amazing, powerful gifts of the earth. but we do need to be mindful of how we express that. So if you're interested in exploring something further, just pop it in there and we'll be in contact with you to have that chat, because ultimately we love to take you on an oily journey. It's not just about chatting with you today and throwing information at you. It's about connecting with, it's about building a relationship. It's about bringing you into this amazing family of knowledge and experience and warmth and love, and nurturing you on that early journey to bring you to holistic wellness. That's our mission for you today. I will actually, good morning, Alicia. Hello, Kylie. Oh, Amanda says it's gone midnight in Manchester. So what we're also going to do is I'm going to draw some oil cards, and if you'd like one, pop your name down there and I'll draw it throughout the conversation, and really I'll just give you my interpretation of what that oil is suggesting to you, and I'll integrate some of my life wisdom into that for you as well. Again, if you want to take that deeper, just pop down that you'd like to talk privately and we can have those conversations off air. So, excuse me. If you have an oil, if you are a doTERRA oil user, or if you're using other oils, all respect, just grab whatever oil you have. And I'd like you to take it and apply it. And I just want to take you on a little bit of a journey, a little peek into my background. But I also, when I tell stories, guys, I want you to allow it to connect with a memory of your own. I want you to go within. So often we are out there, we're all out here, we're busy, we're stressed, we're not actually going within and listening to that little voice that's speaking to us. And from my topic, sense of curiosity, I have always had an immense curiosity, and Barrett will probably start laughing because she knows I'm the queen of questions. I'm always asking questions because that is how I learn. That is how I learn. But as a child, I grew up in the outback of Australia, and we didn't have electricity, let alone anything that like technology to explore on, but I was an avid reader. So I was always exploring and looking in books for answers. And I explored nature. I have a very strong affinity with nature. And that was my backyard. The outback was my backyard, and nature were my play friends. And so I'd just like you to put your oil on, and you can close your eyes if you like, but just come on a journey with me. And as you come on this journey, I want you to come to your senses. I want you to start noting how you're feeling, what you're seeing, what you're touching, what you're tasting in this little journey I'm going to take you on. It's a little adventure. As kids, there wasn't, in modern day thinking, there wasn't a lot to keep us amused, and yet there was everything because we used our imagination. One of the most fun times I remember is Mum, at the end of her busy day, would jump in the ute, excuse me, memories. And we would drive out about 5 miles to this, you would think just a little place in the bush. It was nothing specific, but it was quite ridgy, lots of rocks, and we would go rock hunting. That was the big, yoo-hoo, we're going rock hunting. So imagine, if you will, this little kid, so excited, all prepared. She's got her shoes on because there might be snakes. She's got her, and some of you might not be able to relate to this, but we used to get the old Hessian water bags. We'd cut a slit in the side and we'd put a strap on them, and that was our bag to carry all these treasures that we were going to find when we went rock hunting. So we're all prepared. We've got our hats, we've got our sunscreen, we've got our water, we've got our oranges. And so we get there and we get out and we start. Can you feel that surge of excitement through your veins, just imagining what treasures are we going to find? Walking along, what can you see? Can you see that red dirt with rocks strewn across a dry, barren landscape? What can you smell? I could smell gidgee. For some, that was a repugnant, horrible aroma, and yet today I still love it because it takes me back to those moments, those treasured, fun childhood memories. And then what can you touch? Perhaps you're reaching down like I am because you've kicked over a rock and you see it has some potential and you're curious. You pick it up. What can you taste? Maybe you can taste the saliva building up as you get some of it and you rub it on that rock to rub off the dirt, and you see this beautiful, beautiful patterns of ribbon stone. You've found a treasure. And again, what are you feeling? That excitement, that thrill. that your curiosity has paid off and you have found that treasure. You can feel that grit under your fingers. You can feel the excitement come into your senses. And then you're calling out to the rest of the family, your excitement, you're sharing. They've found things too. And then when you get home, that thrill of getting on the lawn, that small patch, the only greenery for miles, and you spill them out and you hose them off and discover even more amazing treasures that you couldn't see before because they were covered with that film of dust and gravel. That excitement, that feeling of elation, that feeling of accomplishment, all because you dared to question that can't just be an ordinary rock. I'm going to explore, I'm going to uncover it. And then you have the treasures in your hands. And that, my friends, I believe is one of the secrets of life. Come back to me when you're ready. But when we dare to question, when we take that step out of our comfort zone to explore something that may just look really ordinary, when we dare to peel back those layers, take the dust, move the gravel off our own feelings, off our own thoughts, that's when we find true treasure. And that memory is so precious to me. And this is where our essential oils are so powerful, because aroma can take you back to those very special memories that sometimes are hidden. So when I smell Gidgee now, Barrett, oh my God, I'm just straight there. So before we delve into anything else, what I do want to say is that sometimes when our aroma can uncover a memory, it is not so pleasant. But my friends, if you stick with it and work with that to allow it to come out in a safe space, in a safe way, you can start the healing process. So let me just check. I had my eyes closed, so I just want to see what people are saying to us. Who else? Hello, Kat. Hello, Diana. Lovely to have you here. Awesome. Okay, so I'm just going to write down some names. So we have got Amanda, Kat, and Diana. Amanda, Kat, Diana. Okay, so before I draw a card for you and before I invite Barrett to participate with some questions I've got for her, can you believe that, Barrett? I've got questions for you.
Oh, that's a surprise.
I actually drew a card for all of us. This is for the collective. Now, I love this set of cards. Some of you have heard me use these before, but basically we're going to have on here an oil that can support us. I want to talk about what that oil can do for us, but then there is a centering thought. And then really, really important, there's a question we can ask ourselves. Now, guys, when we ask questions, if we ask ourselves a negative type of question, we can find as much negative information to support that. So if I say to myself, why am I such an idiot? My computer will come up with, well, you forgot to do that. You ran into the door. You called Barrett Betty. It'll come up with all of these reasons why. I didn't really. Why I'm an idiot. Whereas if you say, why is it that why am I so clever? You'll suddenly find all these reasons why you are clever. So our card for the collective, my friends, is Coriander. Now, Coriander is about letting go of self-doubt. It's about releasing any self-sabotaging thoughts. So think about that, letting go, releasing. And what it's doing is actually helping us to stay true to ourselves. It's about accepting ourselves as being perfectly imperfect. As I always say, I am perfectly imperfect on a constant path of improvement. And so our centering thought is I live a life of integrity. Now, sometimes when we think of integrity, we're thinking about integrity to others. How often do we question? How often do we be curious and say to ourselves, how am I showing integrity to myself? And I think that's sometimes where we need to go within. I honor who I am in all aspects of my life. I stand for truth. I find purpose in my life and in my own capabilities. And the question, why is it so easy for me to honor and believe in myself? Hello, Jeanette. Welcome for your first time being here with us. So, Berit, coriander. What's your thoughts on coriander? How do you use it?
I have used coriander in cooking because it's an excellent oil in baking. So if you, especially as we're heading towards Christmas, I know it seems like a long time ago, a long time still to go, but obviously we're nearly there. So coriander is fabulous in, in that sort of idea. But the other way that I use it is in a blend that I've made up, which is really just helping when you have been eating too many carbohydrates. And it's really good to help that sort of carbohydrate digestion. So I really love it from that perspective. If you've had a big pasta meal and your stomach is struggling a little bit with that, and all the other associated things. So coriander comes in well with that. It's also great for some people that might have some outbreaks, maybe some irritation on their skin. So coriander is beautiful oil. We don't often think about it in that way, but it works beautifully with the skin as well.
So, when you're saying it's good for the skin, are you saying you take that in your food flavoring to help with the outcome on the skin?
You could do that, or you could apply it on the skin, just dilute it with some carrier oil just to help. It's I haven't tried it this way, but apparently it's really good for body odor as well. And of course, here in the southern hemisphere, we're heading back into the warmer weather, so
Mm.
maybe you want to switch it up from your maybe the deodorant that you're currently using into something that's perhaps a bit more low tox. So then coriander would be a beautiful oil to use.
Wonderful. And that's another aspect. I know that some of you online may already be doing this, but the essential oils are just so wonderful to integrate into your cleaning products because so often we have this great desire to blossom and grow and be the best influence to other people, and yet we don't realize all those silent killers we have in our home, in our cupboards, under the kitchen bench, etc. And a lot of us have actually switched out our toxic cleaning products for beautiful essential oil based cleaning products, etc. But Barrett, we're talking about essential oils and science, and the wisdom. Maybe you've got a favorite or a couple of favorite oils you'd like to talk to us about and explain why the science is important and why they actually have those effects on the body.
Yes, for sure. I mean, science is my background, and so I'm a bit like Leonie that I like to ask questions, and I was that real nerdy kid. I think my interest in biology was awakened when I was about 13. So I was the nerd in the class who would read the chapter ahead where the class actually was at because I was just so curious. I just needed to know more at a faster pace than what the class allowed. So I've got a long-standing interest in biology, how our body works. And what I've sort of learned really in the time that I spent with people and supporting people on their journeys is that very often we don't actually understand how our own body works. And then that makes it very difficult to understand when something's gone wrong. So I've really made it a mission to really go back to the basics. When you understand how your body works, then you can also understand when it doesn't work. And then more importantly, and that's what interests me the most, is when you know what you then need to do to get your body right again, you're actually committed to the process because you understand the process. You understand what needs to be, how to get from A to B. So I love essential oils. It's sort of one of the modalities that I use, and they are so steeped in science. So that is where I get really excited because I need to know the ins and outs of essential oils. What are they all about, and how do they actually how can they actually have an effect? And the wonderful thing is that there is so much essential oil research that is out there. And research was an area that I was working in, so I forever have my research hat on. And when I read something that has something to do with essential oils and the effects that it has on the body and on the mind particularly, then I really get very, very excited because I think we all know that if we've got something physically wrong, often it's the emotional body that really needs the healing, and then everything else will kind of come together after that. So I love the science behind the oils. and I love the emotions. And it's a really cool way to combine it all. And when we're really, can I get really sciencey, Leonie, or is this off?
Yeah, if you want to relate it to an oil,
because I just love it. I just love it. So,
yeah.
if we're looking, and I think really what I want to preface is to say that, look, there's a big universe out there, and the universe has got certain molecules and certain things, certain chemistry in there. And we are part of the universe. The essential oils are part of the universe, if we think of it that way. And so when we're using something that is really pure, that is straight from the universe, if you like, then it integrates into our body, because our body recognizes it. It's familiar with that. It's familiar with the language, I guess, that the essential oils bring in, and the information that the essential oils bring in. And I'm really keen to incorporate essential oils, because when we want to make a change for ourselves and help other people, then we need to bring new information in, and essential oils bring that new information. So that's the beauty, really, of it all. But if we're looking at the pure science of it, essential oils really come with a carbon kind of backbone. So they've got either a 10 chain carbon background or a 15. So they're either monoterpenes or they're sesquiterpenes. So don't get hung up so much on the name. But just for the science nerds here, that might just help. Okay, and then within each of these, we've got certain what's called functional groups, and you've probably heard of alcohols and things like that, of esters and ethers and those kind of things. Phenols, you might have heard of polyphenols and phenols and those things. And then we can align those with the oils. And if we look at it from another perspective, we have an oil. Now, an oil is not just made up of one thing. It has hundreds of constituents in it. And those constituents belong to these functional groups that I just mentioned. And there's quite a few functional groups, so we don't want to go into too much detail there. And so really, at the end of the day, what we want to do is we want to identify what certain functional groups do within the oil and what they then create. So let's grab lavender. Okay, everybody's heard of lavender, I'm sure. So we've got beautiful lavender. Now, one of its main functional groups in it, one of its main constituents, is linalool. And there's been phenomenal amount of research done on linalool. So they have tested linalool with people that are about to have surgery to see, are these people less anxious? They've done studies with people about to have blood taken. Some people really freak out with that whole idea, and I don't like it either. But smelling some lavender oil, where the highest component of it, the highest constituent is linalool, helps to calm people. So that's beautiful. It reduces the anxious feelings. They've done it with dental patients, for example. Again, people get stressed out in the waiting room at the dentist, and by the time they get in to lie on that little chair, the last thing they actually want to do is open their mouth. So by using some lavender oil, simply inhaling it, is going to have those sort of relaxing powers, and that's beautiful. And who doesn't want to be more relaxed and feel less anxious right now? And biology.
Why is it that linalool is making them feel relaxed?
It works with the cells in the body. Now, this is really, really smart. When we inhale an oil, and I'm sure, Leonie, maybe you've already covered it, but we've got oils going up our nose, and they then go straight into our brain, and then they have an effect on that limbic part, which is that's our seat of emotions. And that part then branches out into all parts of the body. But not only that, the oils will also get then into our bloodstream. And every cell in our body has got aroma receptors on it. So every cell is essentially primed for receiving information from essential oils, which I just think is absolutely magical. So does every cell get the linalool then out of the lavender? Well, probably not, because the body's really smart. The body really knows which cells need it, and the cells that need it will put their hand up and say, hey, can you shunt some over this way? So, those cells will then have the, will receive then the, the linalool, and then create that relaxing, beautiful way that we can then cope with the, with the situation. So, so it's just through the nose, into the brain, into the bloodstream, goes to where it's needed in the rest of the body. And then these aroma receptors are literally have got their arms up saying, hey, I want some. So, here we go. And then it creates a beautiful response.
Beautiful. I might just interrupt and do a card reading for the ladies. That's lovely, Berit. And I think, as you said, most people understand lavender. It's a really good one to start off with. And the various ways we use lavender, whether it is in all those ways you've talked about, or I've even tried, I don't know about you, I've even tasted lavender ice cream. Someone teamed it up with ginger pudding. They'd used our ginger essential oil in a pudding, and it was to die for. So Amanda from Manchester, you asked first, so you're first off the rung. So, okay. It's from Amanda. Don't you hate it when people do that? Amanda, you've drawn our beautiful Helichrysum oil. Now, I'm not sure if you've heard of Helichrysum or used it at all, but it is a very precious oil. And again, it's one that is very powerful for releasing despair, anguish. It's kind of like connecting us to our inner pain and helping us to move that through. It's also helping us with our healing. And if you look at one of my favorite products that I use all the time is a product called Ice Blue Rub, and it's for my structural issues, and it has Helichrysum in there as well. So it's quite a regenerative supporting oil as well. So if you think about, Amanda, you may have some sort of, not quite hidden, but maybe some underlying pain there that's sitting very uncomfortably, that you might want to go in, ask yourself some questions and help to move that out, because it isn't serving you. And Helichrysum can be of great support to you in that. And just also, Amanda, I want you to know that you have the power to overcome this. We are all built stronger than we really think, and you, Amanda, are. So the centering thought for you, Amanda, is I am strong and courageous and have the ability to overcome all that life throws at me. I believe in the power to heal, and you, Amanda, are a powerful creator. Your question, Amanda, is, why am I so courageous? So, my friend, if you'd like to take that further, I'd love to connect with you. Just drop me a little message later, and we can take this offline and have I like to call them a sensational exploration, because of the scent. Exploring what is going on in your life, asking questions. If you take me into your trust, I honor that, and then I can help guide you and offer suggestions for what else and different ways that you can use that. So that's for Amanda. Okay, I might also do Kat. Kat, if you're still here. Yeah, Kat. Some people are having a few problems with their phone. Okay. Oh, wow, I'm pulling out the big guns today, guys, and it's actually probably quite indicative if you think about what's going on in our current world. But I have pulled for you Melissa. Now, Melissa, whenever I think of Melissa, I think of us really understanding our true light, our true potential. So often we are playing small, and I don't know, Kat, if you are playing small, but this is kind of what I'm feeling for you, that, it can be very overwhelming, and sometimes maybe you're feeling a bit lost in the dark, but know that light is there within you. Maybe just like I had to wipe the dust off those rocks, maybe you just need to dust a little bit, shine that light in there. And it's also, I think, about connecting you to the outer light. And as Barrett said, the universe, we are one. And whatever your belief system, guys, whether it's Jesus, Buddha, Allah, source, creator, connect into it, because that light is there for you to amplify your own inner light. And so your centering thought is, I choose light. Kat, I choose peace. I choose love. I bring light to the world, because Kat, you have a light that we need to see, that, you know, give yourself permission to shine. And your affirmation is, why is it so easy to see the light within me? And when you ask yourself that question, Kat, you may need to keep asking it. And I totally encourage all of you to try journaling, whether it's on a scrap of paper or whether it's in a beautiful book. Journal these thoughts and just write them down without judgment. Ask yourself a question and just do not dismiss. Have pen and ready and let it flow, because your little voice is trying to tell you something. Your inner guide, your inner spirit, your inner wisdom is trying to come out. So, Kat, I hope that is of benefit to you. So, Barrett, you know, I've kind of talked a little bit about these challenging times we have, and sort of, I believe there's no greater time for us to work on our mental wellness. And I know I've read a lot of research about the connection between our mental wellness and our gut health. So I know that's a passion of yours, and maybe you guys on here today, some of you do, I can see by the names you do, but some of you may never have thought about the state of your gut having a connection to your emotions and your feelings. So Barrett, love to hear your thoughts.
Oh, it's such an exciting field. The whole gut research, and it's a fairly new field, and now of course it's just kind of gained momentum, and there's just lots and lots of stuff happening. So super exciting. The connection really comes about when we're looking at the sort of, you know, the nervous tissue. I think this is really where people started off to understand, you know, what's going on. When we're looking at the amount of nervous tissue that is surrounding our gut, and then the amount of nervous tissue that we have on our head, and then looking at what is the nervous activity, what's the neural activity, and there's more neural activity around our gut than there's actually in our brain. So that kind of started the process. And then people looked at also what is the gut health like of people that do suffer from things like depression and all those sort of things. And this is gut research that I'm just talking about here now in a sort of a different bubble. And they found that really there were a lot of commonalities with people that had you know, mental health issues, and the links to their gut health. And when they were making changes to their gut health, that then improved their mental state of health. So it's a really, really exciting field. And really what we need to really look after is we need to look after the gut flora, that microbiota. So those are all of those gorgeous bacteria that we couldn't live without. We need these bacteria. If we had no bacteria in our gut, then we wouldn't be here. And what the bacteria actually do is they're actually very instrumental in producing particular what's called neurotransmitters. So neurotransmitters are just messengers that ferry information about from one place to the next. And these bacteria create these neurotransmitters. And one of the neurotransmitters that's very, very important to our mental state of health is called GABA, just a short version, GABA. And when we have got certain bacteria missing in our gut, that also means that GABA is very low. And when GABA is very low, we have things like irritability, we have stress that we experience, we have fear-based reactions, we show a lot of anxious feelings and those kind of things. And I think when we look around right now, Leonie, I mean, the 2020, I remember in 2019, we were all sort of going, oh, you know, it's been a bit of a funny sort of year. Oh, really looking forward to the next decade, you know, let's get going in 2020. And of course, now we're here and it's not quite what we all envisaged. So I reckon let's try again in 2021. But anyway, a lot of the emotions that people are going through really relate to how they're coping with the fundamental changes, the huge changes that have occurred in their immediate environment. And that is producing things like fear and anxiety, or, you know, anxious feelings and stress, lack of sleep. People watching news. I don't know about you, Leonie, but I certainly don't watch news at night time. I don't want to take that burden with me to bed. and all that creates issues. And so I feel we need to look at making sure that our gut health is optimal, that we're doing everything there. And then, of course, we have beautiful oils that we can draw on to support that whole process, as well. So, yeah, massive link. Get your gut health right, you get your mental state of health right.
Got some lovely comments here. Diana said, yes, spot on, gut health and the world of it all and how much it impacts our well-being and mental health. You explain it so beautifully. Thank you. Yes, Barrett is very good. Diana, Barrett is amazing at explaining gut health, and we've got a class coming up that we're going to share with you all in the notes later that you can tune into. But I just want to, just like to know if you can drop me a note here. How many of you have ever used gorgeous and bacteria in the one sentence? It's like not something I would normally describe bacteria, but you're absolutely right. That's your field, but also that if we knew the power of good bacteria, we probably would be speaking more lovingly to it. And that's something that I know a lot of people in this platform understand, the power of our words and of our intentions and what we say to our bodies. We all need to be guardians of our words, even more so our thoughts, because that's programming our body. But Barrett, I'd love to ask you, with this, and we don't have time for it here today, but as I mentioned, we'll put the link up for a class. But I'll get you to talk about the class in a moment. But what would be, maybe 2 or 3 oils that you love to use from the gut perspective? And then maybe if you talk about how they help that, I might throw in some emotional aspects of them to help do the guys as well.
Yes, certainly. So, I think that the main oil that I love is Digest Zen. It's a digestive blend, so it has beautiful oils in there that help to release, because when we hold a lot of tension in our body, some people hold it in their gut. It could be that unexplained gut ache that you have, and it's not related to food, and it's just often just related to the tension that we hold in our body. And everybody holds tension in different parts of the body. So digestion is beautiful to help release, but also because we know the importance of getting that gut health right, we need to make sure that food moves at an appropriate speed through our body, through that long tube that starts up here and then goes to the other end where the sun doesn't shine. So we need to make sure that it moves at that right speed, not too fast, not too slow. And we need to make sure that things are working in the optimal way, not associated so much with tension. So Digest Zen has got caraway in it. It has tarragon in it, and fennel and peppermint. Beautiful oils that really help with that mobility, of the gut, motility of the gut. So that's the first thing that comes to mind. Do you want to share the emotional aspect of that, Leonie?
It's quite funny you mentioned Digest Zen, because I love it as flavouring for my hot water. So it becomes like my herbal tea, and I'm actually drinking that at the moment in a mug that was painted by my very clever sister-in-law, I might add. So I'll just do a little bit of a plug for her. I love art, by the way, and I just want to say hello to a few more people. Speaking of art, I see Cherie is on here this morning. Cherie's been doing these amazing, beautiful silk scarves. Hello, Carol. Hello. Yes, we are recording, and there's a whole lot of people on here that I just cannot get to say all your names, but lovely to have you on board. And so with Digest Zen, all those oils that you mentioned, like one of them is fennel. Fennel's the oil of responsibility. And I think that for me in this aspect, I think that we do need to take responsibility of how our life is today. So often people might go to a practitioner, whether they're integrative, allopathic, Eastern medicine, whatever, and go, fix me. And they want to be fixed in 5 minutes. But we have to take responsibility for how we got to where we are today. And I want to just share with you, sometimes that's a little bit hard to stomach, pardon the pun. But I can remember years ago, I'm a statistic like many people. I was divorced. And, at one stage there, it was really hard for me to kind of like just take responsibility for that divorce, because it's kind of like saying, well, I didn't do anything. But, we all have a part to play, whatever it is. And so sometimes, whether it's divorce or whether it's having a gut that's in a very poor health, if we can just take responsibility for that as a fact, I'm reading this most amazing, or listening to an Audible at the moment, How to Think Like a Roman Emperor. And one of the ways to cope with so much in life, which is so powerful right now, is to accept things as facts and avoid making value judgments. So often we'll place a value judgment on something. Someone says, you know, you're a twit, you know, and you're like, you feel so offended. But, you know, maybe that was just a throwaway remark. Maybe they didn't mean that. Or, you know, if someone says your gut is in a bad state, why are we offended? It's just a fact. But we get really offended, and then we start to get defensive, and then we start to blame and fall into all of those things. Whereas fennel's just saying, hey, come on, it's okay, just take responsibility for yourself. And then I think ginger is in there as well, which is another one of our favorite oils. And it's the oil of empowerment. So it's kind of like going, you've got this. Come on, you're strong enough. You've got this. Just stand up. You know, you've got your battle shield. You'll be okay. And I think that when you look at those, and as you mentioned, Barrett, you know, that releasing, letting go of whatever it is that got us to that space. And I think often in Digesten, it's not just about the physical gut issues. It's what is going on around us that we are just not digesting at the moment. You know, perhaps we're just going along, we're not being curious enough and uncovering why things are going on. I think one of the most powerful things to do in life is when you have a feeling is to question it and to feel where it is in your body and put your hand where that is and to sort of think, well, I'm feeling really stressed. If I said I'm feeling really stressed, my hands would straight away go to my shoulders because that's where I'm carrying it. And then you can start asking questions like, well, what burdens am I carrying? Are they my burdens? Are they somebody else's burdens? Do I really need to listen to carry this burden? So I think those questions, you know, so there's some really powerful oils in there, but above all or overall, it's about just taking stock of what it is that's going on in our life and how are we integrating that? How are we integrating that physically, emotionally, psychologically? So, yeah, Barrett, I'm just going to do a card for, hello, Cassandra. Donna Jane might have to go, but because her battery's running low. But if I get you before you go, otherwise, Donna Jane, yeah, hop on to the recording. It will be there. And you love bergamot. Well, we can talk about bergamot. But you actually have a beautiful blend of ours called Clary Calm. And this is sometimes referred to as the monthly blend because it's really good on a physical level for that time of the month, or even if you don't have that time of the month, people on either end of the scale, it's really good for just releasing a lot of that tension, that built up emotion. If you think about this as being an oil of flow, it's about, you know, perhaps Donna, you might be feeling a bit blocked at the moment. Maybe you're feeling a little bit closed off from the world. I'm not sure, only you will know. But what this blend on an emotional level will help you with is just connection and flow. Sometimes for us to get into a true harmonious flow, we need to be a little vulnerable. We need to open up. We need to let go a little. So whether you have someone that you could open up to and share some of whatever's going on in your life, I think that might be of value to you. And your centering thought is, I open my heart to connect and be vulnerable. I am balanced. Now, guys, there's one thing about vulnerability. Vulnerability does not equal full disclosure. It doesn't mean you have to tell chapter and verse and, again, you know, put value judgments on everything that's going on. But it's just knowing that, you know, to truly heal, we have to let out what it is that's not serving us, to make space for that which will. And your affirmation, Donna Jane, is, why is it so easy for me to open my heart and connect? And you mentioned, Donna Jane, that you like bergamot. So we may as well just talk about bergamot for a moment. And bergamot is one of those oils that is going to be like, you know, it's like someone having their hand on your shoulder saying, you got this, girl, you got this. It's about believe in yourself. Believe in yourself. Know that you have within whatever it takes. And we all do, guys. Just going to put it out there. We all do We just need to be curious enough to peel back the layers and to tap into it and to have that little bit of vulnerability to ask for help where needed. Like I'm having Berit on the show today because she explains science so much better than I could even hope to. I actually enjoy science. I never did it at school, but since Berit and I have been working together and attending some amazing seminars by some amazing scientists who have a wonderful way of explaining it. It's not like classroom science, and I love chemistry now, so it is quite powerful. So thanks for that, guys. So Berit, you might have had a couple more oils you wanted to talk about there with relation to well, maybe why don't you just tell us quickly about the class so that people can maybe pop that in their diary and then talk about a couple of oils.
Thank you. So next Saturday, the 26th, I believe it is. I'm just trying to look at my calendar here. Yes, the 26th. I'll be doing a class on using good food and essential oils to really help us de-stress. So I will be coming straight to you from my kitchen. We're going to make some yummy recipes that are going to be essential oil infused, but I'm also going to talk about specific foods that are really good to incorporate to really help us through these turbulent times. And there are some foods that are great to reach out to, and what can we do with them? What yummy things can we make? I love cooking. And
I have to jump in here. Guys. This is really funny because Barrett, when I was living in the same area as Barrett, we had two other girlfriends, Rita and Magda, and we called ourselves the inner circle, and we're great buddies, and we'd go to each other's places and everything. And we had this, Rita and I had this great sort of theory because Magda and Barrett both love to cook, and Rita and I both love to eat. So we figured it was a really good relationship.
Perfect, because when you cook, you do need someone to eat. So, and I love baking, and I have to say that since my children have all left home, I haven't done very much baking because, I mean, I love it, but I don't actually want to eat all of the baked goods. So you know, that's something there. But the class is on at 3:30. It's online. It's free, and it's run from my page, The Oily Tribe with Barrett. So. Jump in there, just register, and it's just going to go live 3:30 on Saturday the 26th. So good food, essential oils from my kitchen. There'll be quite a bit of science thrown in as well because I like to underpin that for those people that really like it. And we're going to touch on the emotions. So everything's wrapped in there.
Beautiful. And guys, don't panic. I'll put it up in the chat. Diana, that'd be fantastic that you'd like to join. Donna, thank you so much for sharing that you love bergamot and you've been asking for stronger connections. This is wonderfully confirming. On the note of those other couple of things you mentioned, Donna, I'd love to connect with you if you'd like to connect with me and maybe give you some other suggestions. So if you'd like that, just pop a little comment there and I'll send you a message later. And we can connect and hopefully I can be of service to you. So, Barrett, what's another one of your favourite oils? Goodness me, the morning's gone quickly.
Sorry?
The morning's gone quickly. It has.
I mean, one oil that I love, and it's just the common lemon oil. I think he doesn't get much attention at all. And I mention him for this simple reason that it is just helps to allow us again to release. I think we've talked a lot about releasing today, and I really just felt drawn to mentioning this oil as well. And then on a physical level, it is amazing to just help shift those toxins out of our body, because the more full we are with toxins, the less likely it is for us to actually have a clear thought. And then we just get caught in that horrible bubble of that we want to get out, but we don't quite know how to because we're just so toxic. So lemon oil, I just have it in my water. It's just, absolutely gorgeous. And Leonie, do you want to talk on the emotional aspect of lemon?
Yes, and for any young mums on the call here or people of our vintage who have grandchildren, lemon is wonderful for getting chewing gum out of hair. We don't even have to ask why chewing gum gets into hair. We know that little toddlers can do anything. But lemon is great for getting sticky labels. So it's breaking down those sticky polymers. Is that the right word, Barrett? Those sticky things. And so if you think about that analogy, it's also really good popped in a spray bottle and used as part of your cleaning regime in your bathroom for getting any scum off a shower screen. So if you think about that, it's cutting away the grease and grime. So think about what that does emotionally, helping to cut away any grease and grime, any thoughts, any emotions that no longer serve us. And think about it cutting away the fog, cutting away the grease and grime that maybe is clogging up our cognitive gears. And so it's really good for focus and clarity. And so if you are feeling a little bit maybe feeling a little bit lost in all this fog of information and whatever's going on in the world, lemon could be a great friend. I absolutely adore popping it in. I have to admit, I'm a bit of a citrus tart, actually. I started off, that was my first oil for flavouring my water, because I love how refreshing it is. I love that, you know, as Barrett said, it's going into our cells and all our little cells are going, yay, come to me. And it's, you know, all of our citrus oils are very high-end D-limonene, which supports the production of glutathione. Look, Barrett, are you impressed with me that I know that? And glutathione is really necessary for most cell health. So, you know, it's really, really such an easy way to pop into your water bottle. But yeah, love lemon. Barrett, just before I cut back to you, because I do want to just share a couple of other things with guys, and this morning's gone so quickly, and I'm getting the comments, you know, I think everyone's having a great time. Woohoo! We might become the dynamic duo. I think I started off the morning mentioning about having a toolkit, and it's so important, guys, that we have this curious approach to life. And I think, Barrett, how you started off was brilliant, that we are one with the universe and we are one with each other. And the more connections we can create with each other, we don't need to know it all. I think sometimes we put so much burden on ourselves, feeling like we have to have all the answers. We have to know everything. Well, no, as long as this hole under your nose can open and ask questions appropriately, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. And then sometimes you ask the question and you let the answer come from within. But journaling, my friends, I'd love you to pop onto the Spiritual Events Directory page and look up the info that Sarah has been putting up there about the spiritual journal that is coming out. I'm really excited to be one of the collaborators in that. It is looking amazing, and it's so perfect because we are all different and we all bring various elements to the party. And so in this journal, we've got 12 contributors who are talking about their particular way of journaling. So we have people talking about meditation. We have people talking about, my daughter is actually in there as well, talking about fitness. So I'm talking about coming to your senses and using your senses to help you journal. And so I'd urge you to pop on and have a look at that. I think there's a pre-ordering option in there. It's due out at the end of October. Make a brilliant Christmas gift. But whatever you're using at the moment, get those thoughts down on paper. There is nothing like, you know, this connection between out there and putting it on the paper. It just makes it more real. Take it a step further, read it out aloud. That really does take it a step further. So tap into your own resources. I mean, Barrett and I didn't just wake up with all this knowledge. You know, if you put together the thousands and millions of thousands of hours of knowledge and seminars and reading, but you don't have to do that. And if you just love oils because they make you feel good, that's all you need to know. It's only for the people that want to know a little bit more. So there's lots of resources that if you're interested in that, we can certainly tap you into that. Hi, Chris. Lovely to have you on here. And then I like to create a blend for my topic, and that's a lot of fun. And I'd suggest to all of you, let go of any inhibitions or any knowledge about blending. Trust, my friends. You've got to trust yourself. And so what I do when I'm blending, I do it two ways. Sometimes I'll just go, reach over here, pick up an oil, smell it, and pick up a few more, and then like a bouquet of flowers, I kind of go, well, is that okay? I then actually, I repurpose our little, this is our beautiful hydrating skincare cream, because we have a whole skincare range with essential oils as well, and I hate waste, so I repurpose these little jars and I put some carrier oil in, and then I put some drops of the oil in and mix it and smell it, and that's how I create my blends. And then I will depend on what I feel it needs. I might put more of one or less of another. And so just trust, you cannot go wrong. So the blend that, and I put it on this tissue and it's just divine. The blend that I created this morning is called Sense of Curiosity, and it has green mandarin. Now, the reason I brought green mandarin is because it's the oil of just unknown potential. And if you think about physically, when they were growing mandarins, they usually take off a large percentage of the fruit to allow the remaining fruit to get all the goodness. And so those green mandarins were often just gotten rid of. Whereas now they've realized that the essential oil that comes from that is nothing short of amazing. And as I said, I'm a citrus tart, so I went from lemon in my water to grapefruit to wild orange, and now I'm just a green mandarin devotee. And it's also amazing in coconut yogurt to dip in your strawberries, etc. But green mandarin, if you think about it from the limitless potential, tangerine is another beautiful citrus, and it's like cheerful, and it's just helping us to be a little bit spontaneous. So I guess with this blend, I wanted us to go back to our little excited child, that little child I introduced you to this morning, that's just excited and spontaneous. It's not overthinking things. And then the ylang ylang. Ylang ylang is very powerful and potent. It's very seductive, but ylang ylang is just inviting us to be a little bit playful and again, to reconnect to that inner child. How many of you are letting your inner child get out and play? I want you to think about that. Let them out, let them explore. And then frankincense. Frankincense, the oil of ancient wisdom, the oil of truth that connects us to the divine without and the divine within. And so I think that together just created a beautiful blend for our session today. And the affirmation that I chose to put with that was, I am wisely curious. I welcome new insights and perspectives. And so I hope that sits with you. Again, if you'd like to know more about that, just connect with me and Donna Jane. Yeah, absolutely. I'll be in touch. Love to have a chat with you. And so a couple of other suggestions for you is, if you'd like to go onto my website, Sense of Empowerment, it's spelt with an SCENT, senseofempowerment.com.au. I've got a blog on there where I just like to share my thoughts, but I want to particularly draw your attention to the aromatic anchoring page under essential oils. It's just some blends I've made up. I will get this one put up there at some stage, and then an affirmation, but you don't need me. With your affirmations, it's really important to create your own words. Create words that are meaningful to you, that resonate with your heart, with your soul, because then it will have more meaning. And the reason we aromatically anchor is that when you use an oil, so I've got this on my palms, and I'm inhaling and I'm saying, I am wisely curious. I welcome new insights and perspectives. I've anchored that so that if I'm out and about and I don't actually have that blend with me, I can say that affirmation again, and it will trigger that same sensation, that same feeling. So it's really, really powerful. So they're my couple of thoughts for you. And Barrett, we've got 4 minutes left, so we can't get to talk about any more oils, but a closing thought from you, Barrett, about essential oils and science and gut health?
I think just trust your gut feeling. We were given a gut feeling as a very, very strong indicator, and as an obvious indicator, as well. Sometimes we don't know whether there's a little voice there or whatever. So, really just trust that. And that comes to using the oils and responding to other people in the community, whatever it means. If it doesn't feel right, just don't go there. And I saw Kat's comments there about, your thoughts on that. I would really say that if your nose tells you that it doesn't like it, then don't go any further with it. Then you're maybe not ready for that yet. Maybe you need to explore some other things before you get to a certain point with that particular oil that you just don't like. And it's very interesting. Can I just tell the story about patchouli, Leonie?
Yes.
For years, I just did not like patchouli, and I know that Leonie is not awfully fond of it. And that is the same sort of thing. We don't need to like every oil. And then I was actually sharing some thoughts on patchouli oil last week in our oil school that we do, and I learned some more about it. And because of some changes and that I've made, and the sort of my own healing journey that I'm on, patchouli is the oil of physicality. And really, for a long time, I had really struggled with that. And now I'm your patchouli girl. It's got me. I'm right there. So If you don't like something, just don't go there. Just leave it.
Yes, and Chris is putting up Whisper. There's lots of funny stories with my.
Yeah, Whisper, I don't like that stuff.
I just want to say too, and I think what Barrett was getting at there with, you're not ready for it yet. What I would suggest is, and I know you were intimating that, Barrett, is that don't go near it right now. Keep exploring others, but every now and again, just go and try it again, because we go through stages, and yes, some people, and everyone's got a different perspective, and it may well be, like I know with patchouli, it is about coming out of being up here. I'm a bit too, yeah, the life's great, everything's fine, and probably being a bit harsh on myself. So I can actually see how I probably do need it, but I just haven't come to that point of wanting to really fully embrace that. But I will gradually get around to it. So Kat, I would suggest that, as Barrett said, don't do it right now. Don't do it right now. Explore other things, but then be curious enough to go, I wonder if today's the day. Barrett, it's been an absolute blast having you on here. I think we need to do it again. Ladies, you've been amazing. I hope I got to everyone's cards. If I didn't, please send me a private message and we'll do it privately, or come on next week, and I'll do it again. Who am I? Where am I? But yes, thank you so much. A big shout out to Sarah Watkins, who started the Spiritual Events Directory. I think she's done an amazing job creating this community, and there are some amazing other people on this platform that if you haven't tapped into them, feel free to have a look at that as well, and do check out the Spiritual Journal. But thanks, guys. Thanks so much, Barrett. We will see you all next week.